In today's video, we're going to be checking out the 10 biggest price shifts of 2024. The prices you see in the video are actually according to TCGplayer.com, which is the market standard for most people when they're tracking Pokemon card prices. The current article we'll be looking at is also written by TCG Player, and it will be linked in the description down below. Real quick before we get into the video, I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm doing a Terrestrial Festival booster box giveaway at 6K subs on YouTube. To enter, all you have to do is like the video, leave a comment, and then smash that subscribe button. Alright, now we're talking about the 10 biggest price shifts of 2024. And it says here, spoilers, they're all spikes. So before you even think about it, none of them are going to be crashes. Pokemon is at an all-time high right now. It is booming. All the modern cards, all the vintage cards, everything is going crazy, especially the modern cards from the past few years. So starting off our list, we have number 10, the Blaziken VMAX. I've already adjusted it so you can see the 1 year trend, because literally 1 year ago, this card was like $160-ish, and then just jumped up with the Sword and Shield Altar Boom. It became like a top 3 card of the Sword and Shield era, along with the Umbreon, and I believe the other one was either the Giratina or the Rayquaza. Or no, I think it was the Gengar actually. I think the Gengar might have also been up there. So those like 5 cards right there were some king cards of Sword and Shield. Everything crashed, as you can see from this trend, and then it crashed at the lowest to like 260 and is now around back to the 300 mark, I believe. So as we can see here, they gave us some data. Initial price January 1st, $161.62. Final price December 18th, $291.10. So the price shift was around $129.48, so 130, with an 80% increase in price. Now next up in number 9, we have the Team Aqua's Kyogre EX. Now if you've never seen this card before, it's from Double Crisis and it is so beautiful. There is a Groudon card that looks just like this, but it's the other side. It's going to be Team Magma's Groudon EX, I believe. And I already adjusted this one to the 1 year mark because literally a year and a half ago, I was given an offer for this card for around $70 and I didn't take it, and I regretted it to this day. It was a near mint card, and this year it started off around already at $100, $95.85 January 1st to be exact, and then it ended up with a final price of $226.86 with a $131.06 increase, 137% price increase. Next up, we have the Leafeon VMAX from Evolving Skies. Now, this card, if you weren't aware, I actually just gave away 2 Leafeon VMAXs, but from EV Hero, so the Japanese version of this card, which is just as expensive pretty much, if not a little bit less. I gave away these on my Whatnot stream, so if you haven't ever checked those out, you got to make sure you check out my Whatnot streams, because we do a bunch of awesome giveaways like these. So now getting to the card, we have the card at a 3-month. It was around stagnant, around 260, and then all the way up, spiking around 320 right now. So we can see the initial price at the start of the year was $165.57 on January 1st, and it ended off the year at $299 flat. Price increase of $133 with an 80.6% price increase. Now we also have the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved. Let's look at the 1 year high. We gotta look at this. So it did spike a little bit here and then start to go down. I guess that's a big decrease right there, even though it doesn't look that big on the graph. I think $50 is a pretty significant margin. It's a $45 is a pretty significant margin to drop. And then it just shot back up. It just said, I'm going to the moon and you're not catching up. So the Paldea Evolved Magikarp is actually done by Shinji Kanda. If you weren't aware, there's even a hidden Gyarados right here in the background. If you didn't know about that, now you do. Part of the reason that people love this card so much, the hidden details that this card has. Initial price of $61.70 and the final price of the year of $201.71 and still climbing. There's a price shift of $140 and then has 227% increase. Now we have a Sun and Moon card, surprisingly. We have the Team Up Gengar and Mimikyu GX. I forget if it was playability or just people wanting the artwork, but this card also has a crazy spike. It started the year pretty low in comparison to what it is at now. Initial price of January 1st was $271.89, final price being $475. That's a $203 increase and a 75% price percentage increase. Next up, we have the Giratina V. Don't be fooled, that graph is a little bit misleading because it started at the 3-month mark. It did spike all the way up to almost $500, crashed all the way back down to around let's say 25, and now is around the 500 plus mark, 530, I believe. But it was a $235 January 1st, $485 December 18th increase, and then $250 increase, 106.5% increase in price. Now we have a big boy from Evolving Skies, the Rayquaza VMAX. This is one of my favorite cards. I personally really want one of these cards, but I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get one given how crazy expensive it is. It had a crazy high of 530-ish. Which is basically, honestly, what it's at now. It's basically, oh, sorry, it rose up to 550 almost, and is around 530 now. So it hasn't reached that same peak, but while it did dip, it is still rising. So we have a card that was $249 at the start of the year, hit 511, having a $261 increase, which is a 105% increase in price. Now we have one that everyone's talking about right now, the Gengar VMAX. So again, this trend is a little bit misleading. If you look at the 1 year mark, you'll see the Sword and Shield Altart rise, and it actually only hit around like 410, which is high. Don't get me wrong. It started out at like at the 200s, hit 410, crashed all the way back down to 300. People were hoping it would crash more so they could pick it up. Then it went to the moon, literally so crazy to the moon, because it started the year at $214.87, ended the year above $500 at the $509.98 mark, with an increase of almost $300 and 137% increase. That one's crazy. This one, not surprising, the king card of the Sun and Moon era is the Heart, Latias, and Latios GX card, especially now that we have Surging Sparks to kind of go with these cards. It's insane. We can see that there's no misleading this card. There was no random spike. It just slowly shot up. It started the year around $700, which was already very expensive, and then ended the year at $1,216, and it's still rising, I believe. Pretty sure it's still pretty high. So the price shift was over $500, and it was around a 75% increase on a $700 card. I want you to realize how insane that is. Now we have the Umbreon VMAX. Now let's take a look at the 1 year trend. It did spike up a lot, crashed just ever so slightly, only by like at max $100, maybe around $80 of a drop, and then it just started rising back up to the moon. And it right now is at an all-time history high. It's around $1,400. And so it started the year at 540. If you got one at 540, you made a good chunk of change, because it is end of the year on December 18th at $1,368 with a, I think this is a typo, but it should be $829.41 increase with a 153% increase on a $540 card, making it $1,400 to end off the year, which is insane. And once again, thank you to TCG Player for supplying this article. So if you want to check out any more news from TCG Player and make market pricing for any of these cards, check it out in the link below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.